Well, we might have to move it just a little bit, but...
I can't lift over 10 pounds, and I guarantee you that's at least 11.
Oh, that's because you're
Broken.
You're broken. Time to go get some tools. Alright, so this is the Curtis cab for the 2025R, and we just went down to Boylston to pick it up, and now I'm going to get taken out of the box and brought inside. All the insides of it are green, and I want to paint them black, so I want to get the panels inside and painted before I end up starting to build the cab and get it put on the 2025R. Seems to be very well packed. All right, let's get all this stuff out into the shop. Instructions in there somewhere. Okay, we're here out in the daylight working on getting this Curtis cab installed. I started mocking some of the stuff up, the main cab parts, yesterday. There are some things that I do want to change on it. I do want the interior to be black. That's just a personal preference, so I'm going to spray paint, take these out and repaint the interior pieces black so the inside of the cab's all black. And then also I know some of these floor pieces, when I was working on this in the snow last night, that these get very, 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 very slick. So we're gonna need something like some grip paper, or some stick-on stuff on there, maybe even get them like rhino lined or something like that, so I can get some traction on that. Additionally, I want to keep the ROPS lights on the inside and not, so they come with a bracket, so it puts it out so it's on the side of the cab. I want to actually keep it with this little alcove that's right here. I want to keep the ROPS lights in there so that they are protected by that. I really don't care about the oranges facing forward. And then one of the things, this cubby, they have a cutout over here so that it matches the other side for the fuel, but it's on this side as well. I do use this cubby quite a bit on the inside of the cab, so I am going to look, once I get this finally all installed, about maybe having to modify this a little bit. I might end up having to cut this section out and put in a new metal section and then paint that and weld it in, so that I can kind of keep that cubby hole on the inside. So all right, let's finish getting this cab installed. a couple things I have noticed. They probably haven't updated the design since the switches came in, or were considered standard on this model. So the 4 gang of switches right here, where this comes in, that's where that little cubby is right there. You aren't really able to get to these 2 switches, and I've tried adjusting this frame member right here, and you're not able to get them. I think that, well, I know it's not going to really be an issue in the long run, because I'm going to end up notching this section out right here, and then end up putting a another piece of steel. I'll grind the paint off right here, and I'll get another piece of steel to kind of put a little shelf in here and then down, so that I can access this cubby from inside the cab. Like I said earlier, I usually keep my phone in this cubby, although with all this other stuff in the space in here, I can actually probably put a phone mount in here, kind of like how I have for my Action 3. I could do that, but I don't know. I kind of want the cubby, and I kind of want the switch access, because I already have plans for 2 switches, and then I wanted to add some Summit stuff, so I'm going to need the 2 additional switches. So, all right, let's keep poking away. All right, I'll tell you one thing. If you have the heater for the Curtis cab, do not break this part. This is a $66 part. I over-torqued it and broke it off in the bushing, thank God. And so I backed it out. And the threads that are on the bushing, I believe they're British pipe thread. Nearly impossible to find if you live in the States. You can order it online, but you're probably never going to find it at a supply house available. Even the plumbing supply houses didn't have anything. Dealership didn't have a fitting either. So, but a 3/8 flare, focus, a 3/8 flare will fit snugly in there. And I'm just going to put some Teflon tape on it just to make sure it seals properly. And then I've got this adapter to go and eliminate this, because on my Yanmar, the temperature sensor is on the other side, so I don't actually need to use this anyway, because it doesn't go into the here. So I'll end up just putting the 5/8 hose fitting on this end. But yeah, $66 for this. Okay, we got that all buttoned up, and it wasn't too bad. The flare fitting fit in there nicely, but I think I actually am going to have to get a flare union and kind of bump that out a little bit more. It was a 90-degree, and I can't get it. It's tight, but it's not tight enough to where I don't think it's going to start working its way back and maybe create a leak, just because of the way I have to be able to get for the outlet hose. So now I just got to get this wiring mess. So modifying this a little bit. The wiring harness from Curtis goes right into the back here, and then there's a switch that goes in the dash, and that has all your 12-volt power to the windshield wiper and the fan. But I have my own little switch console up there, so I got to get that all wired up. And I was going to do it today, but I was like, oh, you know what, it's too cold. But then I remembered I can at least get the heater running. I can just jerry-rig the 12-volt and get the heater running, and the cab can be heated. So let's get that started. And I ordered this ram mount, and I was not aware that the ball sizes were different. So this is from Ram, and then this is from my phone from Bullet Point Mountain Solutions, and their stuff is 20 millimeter, and Ram's is 25. So I had to order an adapter from Bullet Point, and I tried to put some foam in there to close the gap for right now until it comes in, but it's too slick. So a lot of snow today. Let's get this started. Looks like it'll work for now. Oh yeah. Well, there she is, finally complete. I know it looks like it took a long time. The book time on this is 7 hours for I think like a DIYer, and an installer probably like 4 or 5 hours. It looks like it took a long time to do because I just had piecemeal time. I think in all, it probably took me about 5 hours to get this completely installed. And then I got the finishing touches that I'm doing, just adding a little bit more time. Like I'm putting in my own separate wiring harness for fuse or a switch panel up here. I do need to change this out a little bit. It is attached to the Curtis harness, which goes directly to the alternator. So you can, the voltmeter on there puts a little bit of a parasitic draw on it. So I just need to wire it into the fuse block on this side of the tractor, and that way I can get it hooked up to a keyed switch, so that way when the key's off there's no power going to it. But I'm impressed. A couple things that I would recommend on it when you are building it: the pictures that they print out aren't that great. If you go onto their website and download the PDF, you can just blow the photos up and they're high resolution. There's an orientation on some parts like this. On the print manual, I had some difficulty kind of figuring out where they needed to go, and then when I went online, you could blow the PDF. It's a little bit easier to figure out what side was left and right, and in what orientation they needed to be. So that helped out quite a bit. And then I didn't see any torque specs on any of the bolts on here, because who reads the manual, right? You just put it together. If you go to the last page of the manual, it'll actually give you the torque specs for all the bolts. So I think most of them are like 35 foot-pounds. But it's great. I got the heater installed. Finally, that came in. That was on back order when I originally picked it up. They shipped it in. It is very, very nice. It is currently negative 19 degrees, and it is toasty in there. We got about a foot of snow the other day. So I was out plowing the driveway yesterday, and it was negative 10 with the wind chill, and I was able to plow the driveway with just a t-shirt on in there. So these are the vinyl doors from the basic cab. I might talk to my John Deere dealer about getting the hard doors on here. They make a upgraded vinyl hard door, and then also a full metal and glass hard door that goes on here. I was looking at maybe making my own doors for this. I'll have to try and figure that out. We'll see what we're looking at price wise. And then I decided not to paint the interior black. It's not that bad. I would have preferred black on the inside, but it is what it is. Visibility is great. I thought we were gonna have some visibility issues with the backhoe down here, especially backing up, plowing and whatnot. But it's a lot better than having to wear like your coveralls and stuff like that, and a hat and a hood, trying to keep yourself out of the snow. But well, that is it. So if you're looking for the Curtis cab, I would strongly recommend it. Originally, I've been looking at the original tractor cab, which is like $1,700. This was, I think it was $2,300, and then I added the heater on it, which was originally $600. But if you get it with a package deal, it dropped it down to like $399, something like that. Well worth it. I mean, for the little bit more money over the tractor, the original tractor cab, I think you're getting a much better investment here. Nice glass, steel's really nice, it's built really well, and you can also trailer it. With the original tractor cab, I've seen that you're not going to be able to trailer it because the wind will probably end up ripping it right off. So that's it, guys. We'll check in a little bit later on it and maybe see how it's going, but I'm gonna go get plowing some snow in this nice Ford cab. Punching out.